Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today we are talking about submarines again. We got some more information about the next round of submarine testing, which apparently will soon be upon us. So this information is coming from the development blog. I will link to it in the description down below if you want to read it as I read aloud. Follow that link, it'll take you right to it. Again, as normal, any type of images or artwork I will throw up during the video. We're going to go through each section. I'll read the section, give you guys my opinion on it, and then have a little wrap up there at the end. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. New stage of submarine testing. A new stage of submarine testing will start soon, so we'd like to share what changed since the last test session, which took place in autumn of 2020. Submarines have come a long way since their announcement in the summer of 2019. We've gone through 3 tests, a temporary submarine battle even on the main server, and again a test on a separate server back in October 2020. During this time, a lot of feedback and statistics were collected on the basis of which changes have been made to almost all the mechanics associated with the new ship type. For the previous test, the playstyle of submarines was similar to that of stealthy torpedo-focused destroyers. Now, in order to ensure a unique type of gameplay for the new class, we've changed the main target for submarines. For a significant part of each battle, the underwater hunters will be fighting the very classes that were the best tools to confront them. Destroyers and cruisers. What? That's, how are they going to make that work? I mean, like, for a lot of the war, submarines were mostly raiding, in the Atlantic at least, they're mostly raiding convoys, which, yeah, they were mostly fighting destroyers and cruisers at that point, because they were the ones that were protecting the submarines, and that's mostly destroyers, so this will be interesting. Alright, let's see what they did. Dive capacity. Submarines, in reality, are very complicated pieces of machinery. So when adding them to warships, we want to reflect the natural limitations that go hand in hand with operating underwater. To do so, we're adding a new parameter, dive capacity, which simulates the different systems and resources a submarine would need to rely on. Dive capacity will replace battery charge and will likewise limit a submarine's ability to remain underwater for long periods of time. Dive capacity is limited in time, roughly up to 10 minutes of activity per battle, depending upon the sub's nation and tier. The parameter is depleted when a submarine is underwater and cannot be regenerated during battle. Considering that the average battle lasts for about 15 minutes, if a submarine spends the first 10 minutes of a battle underwater, it will be forced to play the remaining 5 minutes exclusively on the surface. While a submarine is detected underwater or at periscope depth, dive capacity will deplete faster. This is a way for ships with hydroacoustic search and surveillance radar to influence an enemy sub's actions even without dealing damage to them. This change will allow surface ships to counteract submarines even without dedicated ASW weaponry. Alright, so dive capacity, like I said before, I'm not a fan of it just depleting faster if you get detected. Like, I guess they're trying to simulate, when you get detected, you're doing more maneuvers and stuff to escape detection and try to hide. But with the old battery charge system, you naturally did, because you were obviously, increasing your speed, decreasing your speed, maneuvering, things like that. It's kind of like the same thing with the swift and silent skill, where for some reason when you're undetected, your engines are 10% more efficient, but when you get detected, they lose that efficiency. So, yeah. Now, the 10 minutes dive time per battle, I could understand if they maybe design the battery charge to last about 10 minutes, again, depending upon what nation that you had. And the more the more you ping, the more you maneuvered and stuff, it would drain faster. I pretty much, what I'm saying is I like the old battery system better, rather than just having a timer that's just limiting you to 10 minutes of underwater time per battle. But they are correct in that submarines, they don't really spend that much time underwater in real life. It wasn't really until late war that we had submarines that could stay underwater for extended periods of time. For most of the war, they really spent most of the time at the surface, and they would only dive when they needed to, rather than like today, where submarines, they're almost always under the water with nuclear submarines. But of course, those won't come to game. At least I hope not. Alright, depth controls, detectability, and view. We've unified several previously tested mechanics and controls. Now depth cannot be set freely within an accuracy up to 1 meter, but instead a depth has to be chosen from several options using the C and F keys. Moreover, periscope depth is back. It will allow a submarine to move stealthily and at a standard speed, but will deplete dive capacity. There's no longer a special consumable needed to submerge to maximum depth. A submarine's detectability radius now decreases linearly with depth. This will prevent situations when a submarine instantly disappeared from an enemy site shortly after being detected. Depth controls have become easier and more intuitive, and different depths will have a distinct influence on gameplay. Okay, I'm not sure what they mean by saying that depth cannot be set freely within an accuracy up to 1 meter. I don't know if this means if we're going to have like shallow, medium depth, deep, and maximum depth, or if you're not going to be able to accurately set your depth. Like, I'm not going to be able to go from 5.7 meters to 6.7 meters exactly. I'm not sure what that means, and they don't give us any illustrations or video to show that. But from what I'm understanding, you aren't going to be able to precisely set your depth exactly to the meter. At least that's what I'm understanding, at least. Okay, and the ability to go to maximum depth now without a consumable, I think that makes a lot of sense. I didn't really understand why we needed a consumable to go to maximum depth beforehand, but it's no longer a thing, so it makes sense in my mind. And them simplifying the depth controls, I think it's a pretty good thing, although they were pretty simple for me to understand beforehand. I mean, it was literally just C and F, so I don't know how simplified you can get from that, but if they've somehow made it more simple, okay. Alright, torpedoes and sonar ping. Sub's efficiency will increase against maneuverable targets and will lower against ships with strong torpedo protection. Oh, okay, I see what they're doing. Submarines' torpedoes have had their damage lowered, but their chance of incapacitating modules has been increased. Torpedoes no longer ignore torpedo protection when there is an active effect from 2 sonar pings. Emitting a sonar ping will become more convenient. The camera will now automatically follow the target when aiming the sonar, the same way it does when aiming guns with other ship types. Emitting a sonar ping temporarily increases a submarine's detectability. Torpedo guidance towards ships marked with sonar ping was improved. Now sonar pings mark both sides of a ship, and torpedoes don't lose guidance even if the target ship turns the marked side away. A ship hit by a sonar ping will be able to see a marker similar to that of a radiolocation skill, showing the direction from which the submarine ping came. Hydrophone. Surface ships receive new ways of influencing subs' actions thanks to their limited dive capacity and the fact that it depletes faster when a submarine is detected underwater. Therefore, the hydrophone was removed. Now, this is hydrophone. This isn't hydroacoustic search. Hydrophone was something that destroyers and cruisers got, where if a submarine was near them, it would pop up kind of like RPF and just indicate that there's a submarine over there. But that's gone now since they've limited the diving capability of the submarines. Other upgrades, consumables, and commander skills were added for submarines. You will be able to check them out in the test client, and there will be a free skill reset for all commanders when the addition of submarines to the main server. Okay, there we go, another free reset. Some skills for destroyers, cruisers, and battleships will have additional effects to counteract submarines. Sub-secondary guns were fired. Sap shells! What the heck? Ribbons, achievements, combat missions, maps, and settings for game modes were updated, as well as the consumables and upgrades works. Added an underwater environment for most of the maps, including seabed relief and underwater parts of the islands. The innovation will help submarines navigate the battlefield while submerged. A lot of bugs were fixed, the client stability was improved, effects were updated, and many other technical improvements were made. Please note all information, yada yada, website. Okay, so let's go back up to the torpedoes. So, the torpedoes, it sounds like, well, like they said at the start, they're gearing them more toward attacking cruisers and destroyers. They lower the damage, they don't tell us by how much, and they make them more maneuverable. So, this is a good thing for battleships, obviously, because torpedoes would just absolutely annihilate battleships beforehand. I think it was the second submarine video I put up when they had the special game mode, where I completely just removed a Queen Elizabeth, no, it was a Warships. I completely removed a Warships health bar with 4 torpedoes. Like, utterly removed his health. He was down to like 2k health, because I got the double ping, and no, sorry, it's 2 torpedoes from the Russians, from the German submarine, and I just completely removed this health because the torpedoes ignored torpedo protection, and they cause citadel damage when you get 2 pings on the ships, and like they've said, that's no longer a thing in this new version of the submarines. So a lot of the main complaints was that submarines were going to cause battleships to camp even more, but if this is what they're going to be like, then that's, I mean, I'm sure some will camp for the first couple of days and probably weeks that the submarines are out, but if they are really going to go this route, then there's no reason for battleships to camp, because it's going to be like, well, you're now the most effective tank for these submarine torpedoes if they're really going to go this route. And they said they made the torpedoes more maneuverable, which is very confusing because the torpedoes before weren't exactly unmaneuverable. In one variant of the testing, you could like make these torpedoes do 180s and still hit the ships. But if they're somehow even more maneuverable, that's But if you are gearing them to go after destroyers and cruisers, they're going to have to be. So this is going to be interesting, to say the least. Because, again, historically, submarines in the Atlantic, at least, did a lot of fighting against destroyers and cruisers that were guarding convoys. But to see this happen in game, it's like you're going after the most dangerous thing that can hunt you, which, from a gameplay point of view, would make it pretty exciting, because torpedoing battleships all the time, like what was happening in the original test, you know, it was fun for a while, but it got boring after a while. But yeah, this is a lot of interesting changes. I don't know how I feel about the shift from, you know, mainly going after battleships and larger ships like aircraft carriers to now going after cruisers and destroyers. But, you know, again, it's going to be less frustrating for battleships because battleships are very unmaneuverable. You could utterly dump on them with the original submarines that were tested. So overall, I think it's an improved concept. We'll have to see how it handles. They don't tell us what patch this is. They just say that this test is coming soon. It sounds like it's well, of course it's going to be on the test server, but I don't know which is going to be 10.5. Well, that's the one that's up right now, and it's not on there right now. It might be 10.6 for the testing, so we'll see. And I really have to get my hands on these and see how they handle to make a full determination of what I think about it. But I think it sounds like it's going to be more exciting and fast-paced and more of a risk-reward scenario, especially with the limitations on the dive time. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I know there's a lot of you that are just, you know, nope, submarines, never submarines, re-submarines, and I understand that. But just let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 30,000 subscribers. We just passed 26,300 yesterday, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Again, a 4th winner has been selected for the 25,000 subscriber giveaway. They have another, well, by the time this video goes up, another 24 hours to respond to my comment on YouTube and message me in Discord to claim their prize. If they don't respond by then, we will go ahead and select another 4th winner. Alright guys, hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.